Start crying.
Right. You, nigga!
Thought crimes.
I said he pull crime, can't compete with your crime, slow crime, slow crime, can't compete with your crime. Said he pull crime, can't compete with your crime, slow crime, can't compete with your crime. Said he pull crime, can't compete with your crime, slow crime, can't compete with your crime. Said he pull crime, can't compete with your crime, slow crime, can't compete with your crime. Hey, my nigga, I ain't hating, and my nigga, I ain't lazy, but I know everything that they got come from slaves. So why you tryna give me occupation? My nigga, I ain't hating, nah, and my nigga, I ain't lazy, but I know hoagies and some cold-blooded killers, rapists and thieves, so why should I be patient? I said he pull crime, can't compete with your crime, slow crime, can't compete with your crime. Said he pull crime, can't compete with your crime, slow crime, can't compete with your crime. Said he pull crime, can't compete with your crime, slow crime, can't compete with your crime. Said he pull crime, can't compete with your crime, slow crime, can't compete with your crime. Hey, my nigga, I ain't hating, and my nigga, I ain't lazy, but I know everything that they got come from slaves. So why you tryna give me occupation? My nigga, I ain't hating, nah, and my nigga, I ain't lazy, but I know hoagies and some cold-blooded killers, rapists and thieves, so why should I be patient? I feel like Babylon and Generation B8 with clear sense, uncommon, can you see straight? Freeze frames by the blocks in the deep state, deep fake DNA. I'm mobbing with the think tank. You on the block with the guards where the beats done. What makes it loud for a law, get your beat stung. Freeze frame, make it hard for bombers roll through. That hating energy get barbecue beef bump. You work a third of the day to get the shame. Yeah, we got just like the murderers and rapists that you claim that you caught. So we burn a little sage, then we raid in your spot.
Get down, nigga, get your motherfucking ass down. What that motherfucker doing? Fuck,
Said he
nigga.
pull crime, can't compete with your crime, slow crime, can't compete with your crime. Said he pull crime, can't compete with your crime, slow crime, can't compete with your crime. Said he pull crime, can't compete with your crime, slow
Federal Communications Commission has determined the following content to be emotionally harmful. Snowflakes should not view this content under any circumstances, even if supervised by a G.I. Joe, Navy SEALs, Army vet, or someone with good common sense. The views and opinions expressed, including the depictions of persons of color, corrupt politicians, white people with or without a tan, haters who have yet to brush their teeth typing angrily in the comment section with hot breath syndrome, do not reflect any official policy or position of the U.S. government. This program contains graphic language, dark comedy, unique intelligence, creativity, a high credit score, and high blood pressure when triggered. This program has also been accused of racism, violence, misogyny, mansogyny, feminism, MGTOWism, defacement of celebrities, and of course, being a bully. Welcome to Thought Crimes.
Thought Crimes.
What's up, everyone? Good morning. This is your girl, Sincere. Welcome to Thought Crimes, and I'm here with...
Yo, what's up, everybody? Good morning. Of course, this is your man, P. Solo, back in the building once again. You guys know what time it is.
Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's back?
Oh, my bad. I was thinking about the wrong one, Sam.
No, yeah, you supposed to rap like Mace.
Yeah, no, I was thinking about Eminem. The greatest rapper of all times, ladies and gentlemen.
Mom spaghetti.
Right.
Arm weak, horns heavy.
Spaghetti. All right, y'all. So I hope you guys are doing pretty good. I hope you guys are having fun. There's a lot of stuff going on right now, too, by the way. Also, just to put this out here, let's get into it real quick. We got Boosie Badass out here saying, I need $1, what I need. All right.
Reality check.
All right. Is that your reality, nigga?
Yo, Boosie, man, funny. He was all up in Jay-Z business, and he can't even reality check when it came to this part. And like, bro,
right?
You know, pay for freedom.
Yeah, you know,
got scammed by Bert and Ernie.
Yeah, he did get scammed by some Muppets, and a Muppet did respond to him.
Reality check.
Now, we're gonna get into the greater conversation. All right, we're gonna get into the greater conversation of that. I do think I find it usually hilarious with a lot of rappers, to be honest with you, boys and girls. I mean, look, I keep telling folks, you know, enjoy the music, but I'm telling you, most of the time, you're not gonna like them if you meet them in person, and they're not gonna be all that alpha that they wrapped themselves out to be when you was growing up. There ain't no way. We was growing up and we thought Boosie would get walked down in the paint.
Oh yeah, this is
by a Muppet.
Boosie's officially in Meek Mill territory. He's up
Digital
there now.
Bunny Hop.
Yeah.
The Digital Bunny Hop.
He said, and thank you, Mrs. Laura, for letting me know the process and what is going on, ma'am.
Yeah, you know, and my thing is this, it wasn't even the idea. I mean, first of all, you did get scammed out of $600,000, all right? That could have went to the United Negro Fund, all right? But that being the case, though, I just think it was interesting about the thank you, because she was kind of like, I don't know who you are, all right? Now, come on now. You know that was a scammy response. They all run together. They know what's going on. They're in each other's group chats and texts, so they already know what's going on.
Because he was snitching. Like, even if they do...
I'm calling out Mike Cernovich.
It's like, this is why Boosie is stupid. Even if they're doing payments for pardons, they would never, ever... Confirm that.
What are you talking about?
Trying to get people locked up. They won't let me... They're not
trying to buy some dope. And they took my money. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't sell dope.
Yeah,
I don't sell dope.
Boosie dumb. They don't want to go to prison like him.
Yeah. They don't want to be on record, just in case the Democrats do something correct and get in office. Laura Loomer, what was that tweet that you did when Trump was in office? You, Mike Cernovich, and Pacific, right? You guys, y'all was giving out pardons.
This is things like this is what makes rap music embarrassing. Now, don't get me wrong. I think like when it comes to hip hop, it's like a split. You either have people who are extremely smart or extremely dumb. There's no in between. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, that is correct.
It's like that's what it is in hip hop. You either have people who are just extremely smart or people who are extremely dumb. There's no middle.
There is no middle. Okay, I mean it is literally Piltdown Man action. All right, Cro-Magnon, slope-headed folks running around here talking about they're gangsters. I need my money. So
I mean, from Boosie getting shot in the thigh in Dallas a couple of years ago.
He said on that record, he said, y'all was laughing at me getting shot in the leg. We went back and tore that town up. I said,
reality check.
It's your reality check, niggas. It's your reality check.
Jay-Z, that kid looked just like you. Reality check.
So now it makes sense why he was doing all of that. I was like, man, that's crazy. But yeah, it was also, he said, thank you, ma'am. I appreciate you so much.
He wanted to use Jay-Z as a lick because he got turned into a lick. He needed that reality check money.
Well, one of the things they find out, I keep telling folks, the gangsters are in politics. The gangsters, they want their children to go to politics so they can have that clean money. And we can do things legally. Well, we can do illegal matters legally. That's what we can do.
Like,
right?
It's like,
just to tell you the truth on that.
And what you thought about his butler ass response? Thank you, miss. Yes, sir.
Right.
Thank you, Mrs. Laura.
All he needed was Hattie McDaniel. This is a Hattie McDaniel tweet.
You are pretty.
Yes.
You are handsome. You are smart.
Yeah.
Like, come on. What is this bullshit?
Well, honestly, it's what Dr. Scott told us. You know, he said actually a lot of the rappers are like that behind the scenes.
No, that's why if people listen to our conversation we had with Dr. Scott years ago, he said that they were rappers begging Trump for money, saying they are dumb. Mm-hmm. I'm just a poor black boy. That's literally what they were fucking saying in front of Trump to get fucking money. You
know what the rappers are in real life?
Oh my God.
Y'all want to know what the rappers really are in real life? If y'all want to ever meet them, and some of y'all know industry niggas. Y'all got burner accounts in the chat. Shouts out to y'all. We appreciate y'all.
They're like Boosie and Meek Mill.
It would be if the Wu-Tang biopic was directed by Lee Daniels.
Reality check.
That's what it is. All right? Okay, that's what most of them are. And all of the death threats that they can make on public platforms, but when they get in front of the schmedium whites, because Laura Loomer is a schmedium white. What is she? They say she's Hispanic, correct?
No, she's Jewish.
What?
You didn't know shit? Come on.
Man, my bad. I thought she was Hispanic.
She don't even have a Hispanic last name. Prince, you tripping.
I thought she was Hispanic.
No, she's Jewish.
Man, she looked like one of those them Day of the Dead Mexican masks in her face.
She kept fucking with her face.
Oh, okay. Lord have mercy. I did not know she was Jewish. Man, I had no idea.
The Mexican community is going to boycott you.
They trying to boycott.
They going to say, how the fuck you going to say she one of us? Get the fuck out of here.
Hey, Holmes. Hey, Holmes. Right?
Vato, you won't believe what we saw.
All right. Okay, so she's from Tucson, Arizona. She went to Berry University. Okay, and yes, she's a Republican Party. Lauren Elizabeth Warren. I'm joking. Lauren. I'm gonna be honest with you. All of the white girls, they kind of blend together after a while to me in politics. Lauren.
No, Elizabeth Warren is a little bit different. She said she was 25% indigenous. Hey, yeah.
Now that was racist.
What?
That was racist.
How that was racist? No, it wasn't.
See, you tried to put me under there for the Mexicans.
No, now you try to see. Yeah. You see the Scorpio shit?
Yeah.
Early,
she gonna do that.
Wait, you see the Scorpio shit early in the morning?
Tonto chance. The hell you talking about?
He tried to do get backs because he thought Loomer was Mexican. Now he trying to do get backs at me.
Yeah. All right,
You trying to have us arguing like Ebro and Rosenberg?
Bitch! We're gonna get into that too. Is Ebro Mexican?
No, they said Ebro was supposed to be half black and half Jewish.
I thought he was Jewish and black, but you know they saying no, that's not the case. I said, well, what is the other side?
What is Ebro?
What is the Ebro?
Is he Arab and black, or is he Jewish and black?
Because he's beige passing. What's going on with Ebro? But anyway, Laura Elizabeth Loomer. They said is an American far right political activist. We know about her, just to let people know, just for folks that may not be up on her. And she's a notable conspiracy theorist and an internet personality. Okay.
Pretty much, she don't do nothing.
Right.
But she has power. How?
Oh yeah.
How, Sway?
How? Right. We probably know how. But anyway, as you guys saw that we did cover yesterday on yesterday's show that Boosie got scammed out of $600,000. I would actually say overall it's probably north of $1 million, because of legal fees and all the other stuff, the ramifications is coming behind it. But yes, Boosie was on Twitter, X, the South African platform that it is, and he was saying, he was calling out all the people that were selling dope.
Basically, all the people years ago that when we broke down the Trump administration, people who were pro-Trump, all the people that were scammers.
Yeah, and there was actually some black media personalities that was trying to get on with Mike Cernovich, so they were trying to,
Oh, yeah.
You remember that?
There was at that time a lot of people, I'm going to get that alt-right money.
Yeah, that was crazy, man. I said,
I don't know.
Man, is it that bad? Is it that bad?
Number one, if you desperate for it, you probably going to get played like a hoe. I'm just being honest. People who make money 9 times out of 10 in the business world, I'm not talking about OnlyFans and stuff like that. They usually don't be like, I'm about to get that alt-right money. That means you about to not get anything.
I mean, if you say those types of things, like you about to go over there, really just say, I'm about to be a slave. Like, y'all respect me. But anyway.
When a rich nigga wants you.
There you go. So anyway, what they ended up doing is that, Bootsy, he went online and then she, pretty much said, I don't even know who you are. That's the extra saucy stuff on it. Is I don't know who you are, which we all know. They just scam people. They all run in cliques and crews behind the scenes. But publicly, she had to say in so many words, you being a snitch right now, so I got to deny you. Like Jesus, right? So then he said, thank you.
He was desperate because he's not.
What's going on with
Boosie's
Boosie?
Not important enough for them to be like, for him to be able to reach out to them behind the scenes. Yeah. He's not even like a, he's
He reached out and got that money.
Yeah.
Shit, they just want him to shut
the
up.
YCs.
Yeah.
Spin that shit.
Yeah.
But no, when Lil Wayne has a high enough profile where if something like this happened, he could reach out behind the scenes. Boosie's desperate.
Yeah, man.
He's desperate.
Because you heard what he said about Vlad, and it's not a good year for
Come
Bootsy
on, man.
and the whites. I'm going to be honest with you. Bootsy is having a bad year with the whites. And also,
they
if I recall,
they running a train on his pockets.
Yeah, and then also I think he's suing Louisiana on top of that. Because he said that, I believe what he said, the highway patrol, when they pulled him over, they were being racist, which I don't doubt it. You know what I'm saying? Come on now. The prison industrial complex originates out of Louisiana. Shouts out to y'all. But y'all know what time it is, right? Louisiana, Mississippi. Which one is going to give you the news first? All right? But outside of that, yes, people were clowning Bootsy. It's only because Bootsy been talking a lot of Tabasco hot sauce to a lot of Negroes online. And then, when the plastic face whites tell him, you are nobody to us. We don't even know who you are.
I told you
then he said, thank you.
They pro-black when they need money.
Yeah.
Think about all that weird pro-black shit that Bootsy was trying to spit.
Yeah.
And then he act like he was trying to be conscious when he said, reality check. Like, look, most entertainers are hoes, okay? In that industry, most of them, that's just what it is, and they just get pimped a lot while trying to pretend that they are the ones doing the pimping,
Yeah, like, look at the scam tactics here. Just to say this real quick.
Because remember, he was begging to be back on Instagram years ago?
He's always begging the whites.
He's always begging white people.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you. He begs the whites a lot.
He do, bro.
Yeah,
Can I get $1?
Also, another scam here. Mike Johnson says that the Pentagon is requesting an additional, looks like that's a $350 billion to fight communism on our shores. Y'all, let's hear this real quick. I'm sorry, y'all. I got to put this on the screen for y'all because this is what we talking about. I told y'all there's no greater scams than what's in government.
Reality check.
Yeah, okay. Let's see what he talking about here, man. $350 billion to fight comedy. That means to monitor black folks. Look, that's all they doing. I'm telling y'all. They here to monitor black folks. Let's go ahead. Let's see what he got to say.
there's been a lot of discussion about what's going to be included in this reconciliation bill. Can you walk through how important and how imminent it is that the Pentagon needs additional funding and what that number precisely is going to be in the Republican bill?
So the question was, can you list the specifics of what the request is for the Pentagon? We've seen it's over $350 billion as a request. And some of this is transformational kind of funding that will help us change the dynamic of the Department of War and make it more efficient and effective.
Yo, I will tell you this. It's weird. Mike Johnson is sinister and non-threatening at the same time. Look at his eyes. Look at these eyes right here.
You know he had a DUI.
He got a lot of things, allegedly. But look at these eyes right here. Look at these eyes right here. Look at that. All right, let's run that back. Listen to when he says, and look how he looks over, look under his glasses. All right, let's go. Let's get into it.
Some of this is transformational kind of funding that will help us change the dynamic of the Department of War and make it more efficient and effective. It's already the greatest fighting force on the planet, not even close. But there are some ideas, a real vision on how to improve that even further, to bolster that. You've heard the president talk about how he wants to effectively double the funding for national defense. Look, we live in dangerous times. We're fighting communism on our own shores, and we're...
I will tell you this, and I was telling Sin this as well. I'm going to be honest with y'all. Overall, to me, outside of its threatening, I told y'all, man, it's just boring. They do the same looping, dry-ass stuff. Now, here we go with communism, and then that, you know what that means, you all, right? Communism really means to take away your fun. That's it. We fighting communism, we're going to take away your happiness.
Why his chin look bloated?
It's probably a facelift. Look how dry they all look. Like, look at the woman behind him.
Pills. She look like
it just looks like everything's a train wreck in her life. Like, I mean, Jesus, and they just so boring. Like, you know. Now, but let me run this real quick because he talking about fighting communism and everything, right? Let's go.
Improve that even further, to bolster that. You've heard the president talk about how he wants to effectively double the funding for national defense. Look, we live in dangerous times. We're fighting communism on our own shores, and we're fighting evil terrorists and tyrants around the world. And we have to be able to protect our national.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, and shouts out to you all. And you said it's a thyroid, KJ. Yo, shouts out to you all, too. As you guys can see, they were basically taking away y'all grandparents and mother and daddy's Social Security so they can move that money around. That's really what y'all know that's what they've been saying. They said, well, we got to get into that money over there. All right? You know, we know y'all worked hard for it, but we really need that money. You know, I told y'all, these some pickpocketers, right? These some pickpocketers. Yo, they always in your pocket.
Reality check.
They in your pocket and then canceling your shows all the time. Ain't that something? You know, I actually do think, like, I think Mike Johnson has reincarnated from the Reconstruction era. I really think some of these souls came back from the Reconstruction era to try to restart some of the stuff they did back then. You get what I'm saying?
Is there anybody who still believes in fighting against communism on our shores?
Then you're going to hear all
that's
of them.
That's old
That's
ass
what I said. That's what I said.
Back to McCarthyism and all that? What the fuck?
Yeah, well, that's what. So what we going to do? We're going to have
the Red Scare?
They're going to have SZA on trial like Josephine Baker. Like, I'm telling y'all don't understand. For me, it's just a wave of evil boredom. That's what it is. You know, they cried about everything, but it's just so stiff. Like, look at these people here. These are your top dogs right now, all right? Yeah, I know, talking about fighting communism. That ain't even a part. It ain't even a question. That ain't a part of nobody's conversation online. Nobody.
Not even the most dick riding MAGA. It's like communism.
Oh my God.
Who the fuck is talking about communism? White people make up anything, bro. Well, you know what to try to fuck with somebody.
You know what I said? It's because Trump is 100 years old, so he remembers communism, And then they're like, oh, yeah, communism. Yeah, we got to fight that communism. Yeah, we got to get rid of the communism. So, this is really their goal. Look, y'all. I mean, I did read some of the American Heritage document. I'm going to tell y'all something real quick. They're trying to de-season everything y'all love in America. They're de-seasoning everything y'all love in America. Getting rid of any of the spices, herbs, and blends, any of the beautiful gravy that you get. They want all of that gone. Because when you take the seasoning out of the food, the people angry. They can't taste nothing. All right? So, yeah. Let's see here. We got to be careful. China is going to own everything. They already do. All right. We can kind of. Yeah, remember, they did that in the 70s because they wanted to fire all the black folks. And then they was like, oh, my God, we built an op. We build a ops. That's what America does. And
so we build a bitch. No future.
Oh, man. I ain't even listened to that album. I saw the title. I said, come on now. Where we going with it? All right. So anyway, I just, I thought I wanted to check that out real quick. But, yeah, apparently, how old is Mike Johnson? How old is Mike Johnson?
He looked like he in his late 50s.
You think so?
Let me go look it up.
Because he could be 32. He could be 32.
Let me see.
Because he looked like he dyes his hair salt and pepper to give himself that mature look. How old is
That's
Mike
what J.D. Vance does.
J.D. Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Here's another. Yo, where did all of these guys come from?
The United States of America.
Jesus. It's like they all trying to prove something. All right.
Yeah, he's supposed to be 54.
He 54?
Yeah, that's what I thought. I was going to say somewhere between 54, 55, 56.
Well, he always looked fat and skinny in the face. Old and young in the face.
A lot of sodium.
Yeah, so.
And also, he obviously he drinks a lot because
right.
He was arrested at one time for a DUI last year. Of course, nothing happened.
No. Of course, it's not going to happen. But they all got like Bobby Brown jaws in that White House. Because what's the one that's the head of the Department of War? Yeah.
Pete.
Yeah, Pete Hegseth, man. He was another wet.
A good old boy.
Yeah, you saw he was drunk?
Yeah. A lot
what
of
you about to
allegations
say,
on that.
Go ahead.
Wild said Biden said they trying to put y'all back in chains. He a part of it.
He a part of it.
He said his crackhead son out here doing interviews and conversations with Nick.
Black people trying to get out of the chains legally that Biden did in the early 90s. You remember he held up that cocaine, that crack ball? He held up.
I don't give a fuck why they smoking it.
I don't care about their backgrounds. I don't care about improving the conditions of their environment. I don't care about any of that.
I say prison yesterday, I say prison today, and I say prison in the future.
Hell, pardon my son.
Biden. But what if cops put plant drugs on people? I don't give a fuck.
But pardon my son.
Also, Hillary Clinton super predators. Remember, they
all did that.
They partnered up with the Republican parties to lock people up. Lock them up.
Yeah. Listen, yo. I mean, again, whether people get it or not, listen, that's what it is. But yeah, they really trying to run through and de-season y'all lives right now. Think about it. They don't want you to retire. They don't want you to have money. And then they don't want you to watch your favorite shows. Then they talking about monitoring your Cornhub accounts. They said that you need to upload an ID.
Well, that's because they want people to die of stress and their immune system to be shot. Even with the music industrial complex, they trying to get y'all caught up in being super fans and they being crazy and crying
super
on the
fans.
internet all day about a few artists.
Well, super fans that monitor what you say at the same time.
Right.
They want to shush you.
They want you, they don't want you to have fun.
They don't want you to have, we're telling you guys, that's what it is.
Let's stress them enough for them to die.
Yeah. Just like when they got them old nervous white boys listening to rap music and they say if you listen to any black artist, you're killing your genetics. Look, y'all, they hitting see the jokes, as Funky Master Flex says, right?
They laughing at you, nigga.
The jokes is to make you think that you are going through something special and unique. that the other groups don't know anything about. They're stressing all of these people out. All right? When they say communism, that means they're going to go through and rip up the entertainment industrial complex. Because now what's good for the entertainers right now, the ones that are getting online trying to monitor the civilians that really help pay their rent basically by buying their products and merchandise, what they trying to do while they trying to clamp down on y'all, the politicians want to come through and uproot them.
Oh, absolutely. And also, Wild said in Operation American Superfan is working. Unfortunately,
Yeah,
it is. I mean, we even have people, get mad at us. I'm like, I'm not joining Operation Superfan. Like I said, and for our audience, they can like whoever they want. They can dislike whoever they want. They can have whatever theories they want about whatever fucking artist.
Yeah.
People are not going to be stressed out and on high alert on everything. Like, come on, fuck off.
It's crazy because super fandom is really bad for your business, but it's good for them. Because you're a free publicist. You working for free.
Right.
You broke Olivia Pope.
I don't
It's
want...
bad for business to be a super fan platform, but it's great for the people that you being a super fan for.
I don't want to give too much game, but still what Prince said is true. You're a free worker.
Yes, that's it.
You're in love with an artist so much that you're doing free work for them online.
Every day. Anytime there's a scandal, you out there to defend it.
That's why I said one person got mad at us one time. I think it was an industry person, possibly, or someone who loved industry people.
Yes.
And I said, I'm not your publicist.
No.
The fuck what Prince is not supposed to do? We supposed to clean up stories for your favorite artist?
Yes, that's the point.
Like, get fuck out of here.
And then on top of that, it's like when you being a super fan. Like, what was that one girl that was a super fan for Nicki and she got blocked?
That shit was funny, man.
That's crazy. That was crazy.
Or even like that gay dude who called her on Spaces, and he was like, "So
dear
Nicki,
mother,
this current, I'm just having a bad day," and then Nicki was like, "Why?" And he's like, well, this current administration is just stressing me out. Like, at my job, it seems like I may get fired because I'm black. And she said, see, I knew I should.
I know.
But going back to that girl, though, who had Nicki face everywhere, and she got kicked off from Barb's Island.
Yeah.
And she's like,
bye, Barbarella.
I don't know what I'm going to do with my life. Like, Nicki.
Yeah.
Nicki was just everything, and she said I was ugly, and Barb's came, and they said, fuck, I'm a stupid bitch, I'm a stupid hoe, and I see it too. I see it when people cry because, something happened, and they feel hurt with Drake, or with Kendrick, or with Jay-Z, or whatever. I said, well, if you wasn't a super fan, you had more respect for yourself, you would have boundaries with these people.
You know what's crazy about the super fandom?
You could like their art and stuff, but like, chill out.
The super fandom stuff is so crazy because like people won't even co-sign their friend that looked out for them in real life. You get what I'm saying? And the super fandom is brilliant. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's just a very effective business tool because, see, before what they used to do when they gave you like street teams or they'll pay people through certain temporary agencies. Now, they just do it for free online. I mean, the only thing they may be paying for are some of the clippers, the people that are clipping up stuff, but people are doing that on their own. You get what I'm saying?
Most of those people are doing it for free.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it is true. Oh yeah, the Britney way. Yeah, and Britney, she got her stuff back, and then they saw Britney was really off the hook. You get what I'm saying? So it is very interesting. And like I said, there's a lot of people trying to implement control even in entertainment. Like, you as a consumer, like, who is anybody to tell you where to spend your money? Think about that. Like, people are trying to shame you for spending your money on artists or certain films that you want or things that you want to have conversations about. The super fandom stuff is driving people crazy, and I think they're going to drive them crazier and crazier. Speaking of people going crazy, Rosenberg.
Yeah, Rosenberg and Ebro.
Yeah. And Drake was laughing.
That's a power couple right there. And we saw, that they were having issues with their relationship. I'm not going to spend too long on this, but my personal opinion is like, if you worked with someone for over a decade and y'all now supposed to be independent allegedly together after getting fired from Hot 97. I don't know why you would call somebody broke just because they're calling out Charlemagne's Rosenberg. He was saying for himself he felt that Charlemagne was compromised. And remember, this is the same Rosenberg who also criticized academics. So I don't really care for either of them, to be honest, but Rosenberg has been consistent with his energy towards academics and towards Charlemagne. I don't know why Ebro had to call his homie broke, because remember, Ebro was saying the same thing that Drake said about Rosenberg. Remember when Drake said Rosenberg don't got no money? And then Ebro, once, Rosenberg was questioning him about certain things with Rock Nation and Charlemagne, he just called he called his dude broke. I don't know what that's about. What's your thoughts on it?
I don't know. I looked at it at first. I was thinking about where they, doing the farm engagement, situation.
How Rosenberg's voice cracked. He ain't that good of an actor. His voice, bitch, like his voice cracked.
I don't know. I think I'll just say this. I think Ebro might have been doing it though, and I think he emotionally triggered him so he can get that going. Oh,
you saying that Ebro knows the parts of the body to push?
Yeah, Ebro is
that's how intimate it is.
Yeah, that's how much of a leader he is for his team. He's actually very sadistic. That's why when people be roasting Ebro, I was like, why y'all feeling sorry for Ebro? All right, that motherfucker is sadistic. I think he punched Pillsbury Doughboy's buttons, got his ass riled up because he knew he was going to get clipped up. And Rosenberg knows Ebro is sadistic, but he's emotional too. So he still falls into the trap.
Rosenberg has always been whiny.
You said
even when he was crying about how Drake don't talk to him no more, Rosenberg has always been whiny. Like
why
even
would
when
Rosenberg?
He said he would like to make money over there with Rock Nation, but he says he don't like them.
I respect that. I respect if you don't want to make money with people you don't like. I respect that.
But the whole point is, Ebro said we do that all the time though, and then Rosenberg said I don't want to keep having to do that though.
Ooh.
Yeah. So
he don't want to be a slave.
Dom said all of them emotional. That's true. That is true.
True.
Oh, also KJ Forever said you saying that Ebro trying to be like Joe Budden when he used his his co-host
actually
for content.
Actually, to be real with you, because Joe Budden does do that a lot. He does that a lot. And Ebro, actually, Joe Budden was over at Hot 97. So it might just be training grounds. But no, I think Ebro did that shit on purpose. I know some people online are saying, well, they both were in on it. I said, no, Ebro decided to do that so it can get clipped up to promote the show.
Yeah. I don't think Rosenberg was in on it, how his voice cracked. Wow.
Well, we know how he might yell at his wife.
Well, I don't think they're together anymore.
Oh, really? Oh, Drake was laughing about that, wasn't he?
I think so. I don't know.
Yeah, all right. So all of his little ops are getting that. So, yeah, I just think Ebro was being sadistic. Ebro don't care about a lot of shit unless it's Jay-Z. No, I'm serious. Like, that's it. Like, Ebro don't care about a lot. I don't know where the sensibility of is that, that dynamic with Ebro and was supposed to be like real hip hop, because I didn't see that. Sometimes Ebro would troll like people that specifically just do real hip hop. He would troll them for clicks and views. All y'all got to do, I don't care about Kodak Black either way, but all y'all got to do is go back to the Kodak Black interview. Ebro at first was going to go along with the interview, and then he just decided to start trolling Kodak Black. The problem is that Ebro's not funny, so people don't know what's going on. They just think he's being a dick. I was going to
say that Ebro tries to be funny, but he's not. It just comes off very dry.
Yeah, he got the sense of humor of beef jerky.
Yeah, it's very dry.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. No, he does. He does. No, I think that was farm engagement, and I think Rosenberg was the Jewish lamb. All right.
He was a sacrifice.
He was a sacrifice. I actually think he was a sacrifice. Now, I don't know if that's going to be at the expense of the relationship, but You know, maybe Ebro Darden wants a Joe Budden, Rory and Maul moment. You know, those things to get people in the algorithm. So, yeah, no, I'm just saying. I just think that may more than likely probably will be the case. You know, also, they said that the U.S. Senate has rejected advancing the NDAA National Defense Authorization Act.
That act was just, it was going to fund more weapons for Israel.
Yeah, they blocked it.
For right now, they said it was blocked. But we are definitely going to keep an eye on that, though, because they're going to keep trying.
So do you think more rappers are going to be getting embarrassed, though, by the administration, though? Just realistic, because we already know Boosie got scammed. I think it's up for rappers to get scammed now, 100%.
You and I are hip-hop historians, know LeBron James, Prince, so we know that a lot of rappers have always been getting embarrassed. We know when Russell Simmons embarrassed himself, even though he's not necessarily a rapper, but even the execs, when he embarrassed himself and he said that Trump was my nigga, and Trump said, no. He said, why would you put that word on me? But I just think like people are going to have recency bias and be like, yo, these are the dumbest rappers of all time. No, if you've been paying attention to hip hop for a really long time, you know that Meek Mill and Boosie are not the only ones. There's actually a lot of embarrassing things that have taken place in hip hop, be it white execs, mocking
Meek
rappers,
Mill is
rappers putting themselves in a subservient position. It's even when we talking about Leor and Young Thug, when he told Young Thug to eat his pizza, that's why it's very interesting because a lot of the black rappers try to be tough with the black audience, like even the pick a side thing, that was psychological abuse and dark psychology if you really think about it. They tell you to pick a side because we know the majority of hip hop media is black, right? They tell you to pick a side, but then everybody else doesn't have to. And then on top of that, going back to even what we're talking about here, a lot of rappers act tough when it comes to other black people. They are 9 times out of 10 very docile when it comes to other groups of people. You even see it where you have some white boys can go into the rap gangland hoods and stuff like that, trolling and doing interviews and stuff. But you saw what happened to old boy in Chicago who got murdered. What's his name?
Zach TV.
Zach TV.
Yeah.
So, I just think that people gotta see it for what it is. I mean, but it's been this way for a long time now.
Well, I think just moving on forward here, I just think that's going to be the case, and a lot of rappers have decided to try to get money with Trump, and that's fine. But they always been kind of low key. Look, a lot of rappers, it's all Republican shit. You get what I'm saying? They kind of like the country clubs, Magic City. It's the same shit. To be honest with you, I'm gonna be real with y'all. I know people try to make a distinction because they see dark skin, and they're like, oh no, because it's all the same shit. It's just one group gets a chance to not be seen as guilty of the same energy, right? But I do think the Boosie conversation, I think, is very interesting, and it kind of shows you where the money isn't, right? If you look at a lot of guys from, let's say, from the Jadakiss class, if you look at Fat Joe, like DJ, we had DJ to call in, and we talked about this before that they were going to be transitioning into rap. We said 8
years ago, rappers broke.
Yeah, we talked about that.
We said they're going to go into podcasts. They're going to compete with the independent scene.
Yeah, they're going to come in and say what they say. You saw that even that dynamic with the Lobby Boys and DJ Academics. When Mano, with his toupee, he said, yeah, it's like when we come on the block, that's just nothing. I mean, at the most, people are going to be maybe regional bias or fandom for your stuff, but media is an entirely different sport. You got to actually be active on all levels, as you guys can see when football players and basketball players retire and they go into it. You saw recently what happened with Gilbert Arenas. You get what I'm saying? So even Ebro sacrificing one of his cast members just to get some clicks and views. Because I think that shit was done intentional. And I think when he kept leaning into it, he was talking about you're broke.
Yeah, even when we see what like this whole crazy stuff with NBA YoungBoy and Doughboy and Future and Gilly and all that, which we'll touch on that more on Patreon. But feuds are generating income because music is not generating income. So you're gonna have. That's why independent creators there's some things like we can't say to people because they just don't get it. They're like slow to process what's going on.
Huh?
When industry people tap you, it's because they want you to do a job for them for free.
No.
So, for example, they'll tap you like, yo, and sometimes they do it just like smoothly to encourage you just to attack one person in rap. You literally are trying to sink somebody's op, and you're not even getting paid. But you got tapped by an industry person. Then on top of that, they come in here trying to take people whole IPs and, just steal people's talking points and so on and so forth. So a lot of independent creators just have left their legs wide open for industry people to have what they want. And even with the lack of respect, because I'm going to be honest with you, a lot of these industry people don't even respect themselves, but they damn sure don't respect people online who are putting themselves out there to be, I don't know, the butler for them. Whether it's pushing campaigns and they don't comprehend that they're pushing a campaign and so on and so forth.
Yeah, it's just happening across boards. It's happening across all boards. And then if you see, like, even in sports media, there was a couple of, guys that were covering, like, basketball, right? And I would follow them, because I think they do a pretty good job, but they're independent, right? And one particular one, they got so much clout that ESPN reached out to them. But then ESPN kind of started adopting some of their talking points. And
faded them out.
Yeah, and then the brother, he just sitting there going live like, shouts out to them. And I told y'all.
Fade to black.
Yeah, I told y'all, man, people laughed at us when we said it. I mean, okay, if your numbers aren't 43,000, views maybe every morning, and you're looking at the numbers. When Jay-Z used to say, men lie, women lie, numbers don't. Right? When he would say that, but I said the numbers can be rigged, though.
Well, even when
and so you would see that. No, because you and I, we talked about this. Like we know that there are backdoor programs through all of these social media
apps.
To make
somebody views go up and to make their views go down.
Like you even saw, who was the lady that was coming out of the right? No, what was the comedian? Who was the comedian? I can't remember her name, but she went over there, where Bill Burr got in trouble at as well. It was like a whole convention. But what they found out saying, she had 2 million views per video, 1 to 2 million views per video, but she would have 13 comments. Then you got people, they sit up there like, no, it's the numbers. We got to look at the numbers. No, absolutely not. When you see people that are adjacent, they usually numbers are being flipped somewhere.
And also, they got to remember, too, I know people are in love with certain artists and they think certain artists are just, innocent. But anybody who's mainstream, 99% of them take dark money. You have a few of them who, they stand up for something. I got to give Dua Lipa her credit. She sacrificed certain deals and stuff like that to fight for the people of Palestine. But the overwhelming majority of them, they be lying to y'all, and they do it easily. Also, Tutu said Amy Schumer.
No, it's not Amy Schumer. It's not her. Not Amy, not Chelsea. It's another woman. She is white, I think, and I think she's like a brunette. And I remember I was watching one of her stand-ups. I just saw like 2 minutes of it, and I clicked off. But I was trying to figure out who she was exactly. I seen her face here and there, but when Bill Burr had that whole big controversy, he got very sensitive because a lot of his base supported him also based on the idea. It's almost like when you find out, like when T.I. did the Crime Stop program for hip hop heads, right?
I think
so with Bill Burr, that's how they looked at him. A lot of the liberals and progressives.
I think he criticized Jay-Z and Beyonce and then he went over there and did the Saudi stuff too. That's why they cooked him. And then but that's what a lot. See, that's why I said, look, woo.
I think it's Whitney Cummings. Yes, thank you, OG. I think it's Whitney Cummings. But go ahead, Sin.
A lot of artists do this. They'll tell on someone else, but not on their homeboy or friends doing the same thing. It's kind of like someone had told us recently. They were like, and this may gross people out, but we keep it honest here. They told us that most of people in the industry be messing with people, teenagers under 18. That's what they said. And by how the entire movie and music industry has ignored the Epstein stuff, I believe that is true. That could be a strong possibility. Shout out to Ransom for making music about the whole Epstein situation.
Oh yeah,
and
Ransom, dope MC, dope.
But yeah, I remember like even when we started talking about Epstein in 2015, the only hip hop platform that talked about Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, we literally broke down almost everybody that was involved that people are looking at years later, like, oh my goodness, these people are involved. And then the only time the hip hop community brings it up is just about this weird conversation of people just only making it about Jay-Z and crying about the crisis intake calls, or saying let's not talk about the Epstein stuff. And it's like, so all these industry people who had nothing to say about the Epstein stuff, and they only want to talk about it if they think somebody they like may be in trouble, and that's it. Although again, the crisis intake calls that happened in 2019 were just call-ins. They were never investigated, so you can't use that as anything credible. But nonetheless, I really don't like.
I mean, it's nothing. It's not anything different, though.
What do you mean?
Okay, honestly, for our lifetime, because if you go back, it depends on how old you are in the chat. But for our lifetime, like I honestly feel, Sin, I agree with you, but I just feel, for me personally, after what we witnessed with R. Kelly growing up,
yes,
I just think the bottom been out for this era too. On top of that, like even when like, it don't matter how much you are in love with R&B. Like, what does that got to do with anything? You get what I'm saying? And I do think sometimes, like, even if we talking about industry, we just talking about for our perspective, but it's happened across all industries. And yes, thank you very much to those who mentioned it. It's Whitney Cummings. It's this lady on screen here, and they found out that they were pumping her views up where she had like 3 million views, but she had like 28 comments. It was just weird. But
I was just thinking, but at one time with hip hop media, they would have been all over this, like when early Professor Griff on YouTube, or when you had Prodigy talk. Prodigy was literally talking about the people in the Epstein files when he was, you had so many people on that vibe. I think by the time we started talking about the Epstein stuff in 2015, I think by that time, hip hop media was already getting butchered up.
Yeah, that's what I said. If you want to be honest, and a lot of times, because it's just been so with us, like we got to think about, like, this is R. Kelly's brand as much as it is R&B, right? Like, him being a funny Pied Piper is just as a part of his brand as him singing. And I think people don't understand, for hip hop too included, I don't think people understand how much the R. Kelly trial had groomed people to accept behaviors. So by the time Epstein come out, or and not only that, we got to keep in mind, like, a lot of spaces in hip hop have been bought up. So a lot of times people
politics too.
Yeah, there's a lot of people stepping out of Silicon Valley, stepping out of the political space, and they've been buying up hip hop media for the past 15 years. So they can't report on it, and they'll try to avoid it to not get in trouble with their sponsors too. So you got that going on too. So it's creating this, like, it is creating this dry diet energy where you can't really get to where, like, people like Thought Crime sound edgy because we're just saying that's a zebra.
Yeah, just
that sounds edgy. Like, that's a zebra, bro.
Yeah, because it's like the policing that is even going on, and the gatekeeping. It's like, who are you to gatekeep? You're out here clout chasing for money. And go get your money, but you can't, if you a thought, why are you gatekeeping? Go thought for your money. And you got people doing this perverse morality bullshit. My thing is, if you out here and you really supposed to be fighting for something, and as a media platform, right? Then you shouldn't be biased. And if you are biased, just admit it. So then I feel that's a form of honesty too. Like if you're like, I cannot get over this hump because this person is really my friend, so I'm gonna excuse myself from the conversation, or I really like this person even though I never met them, so I have a bias in this person's favor or whatever. It's you just see it all the time. Even like the academics thing versus Charlemagne, like academics with the weird thing with the 15-year-old that, talking to the boy, and then Charlemagne who gave a 16-year-old girl alcohol a long time ago, and then admitted she did get gang R, even though he said he wasn't a part of gang R-ing her, but you still gave a 16-year-old girl alcohol, and Charlemagne promoted R. Kelly porn tape with Andrew Schultz on Brilliant Idiots, and then he switched up to try to pretend to be this woke hero and said, yeah, R. Kelly needs to go to prison. So, but to a degree, I just think that everybody's fake to some degree, which is why these things keep slipping through the cracks. If somebody told you and showed you who they are, and they've been telling you they've been drugging people allegedly, or they've been doing this or that, and then out of nowhere, they could just be a family man or woman. Like imagine if Ghislaine Maxwell is all of a sudden come out and rebrand herself, I'm a family woman. It's like, it's bizarre. And then people want you to sit here and be fake. It's like what I told people before. It don't matter who your favorite artist is. If it comes through that it's confirmed, it's not rumors anymore or it's not allegations anymore, and it is confirmed that somebody's trafficking, I don't care what rapper or pop star or R&B singer or actor or actress it is. It's over. But also remember, it reminds me too of what people think is credible, because alternative media is not always credible and traditional media is not always credible. You have to take, each platform for what it is. It reminds me like when you and I reported, we said R. Kelly was up in the club and, what was taking place. And we said more tapes are going to come out with R. Kelly and he was going to go to prison. Everybody said to us, a lot of people even in the audience, they were like, y'all lying, y'all don't know what y'all talking about, y'all just making something up. The next day, TMZ came out with the story about R. Kelly being up in the club and spazzing out. And they're like, oh, TMZ, okay, so y'all was telling the truth. Why do TMZ has to back up anything that we're saying? If anybody understands the history of TMZ and what they are about, or even certain other situations, you wouldn't be saying a person can only be believed if TMZ backs them up. Like, come on.
That is true. And I will say this, just to say this real quick, y'all. Like, the game is fixed. Now, the downside is this, because y'all want to know why, like, all of the super fandom stuff is happening right now in hip-hop. The comedy sucks. Now, am I saying there are any good comedians out there? No, I'm not saying that, but the culture of comedy is garbage. You got trolls thinking they're funny. And, a lot of time trolling is self-serving, too. I want people to understand that. The streamers, they're the comedians. Like, I keep telling folks, I said, I'm going to be very specific. I'm talking about the black comedy. I told y'all that Obama era, that was rough. That was rough because there was absurdity during the Obama era. How people was reacting to him, but also the stuff that he was doing. You got to get that dirt off your shoulder. Why do I care about that? The whole point is this. If you don't have that free form of critical Mark Twain thinking, what you're going to have is like sycophants and glorified hall monitors. You're going to have hall monitors, and it's just happening everywhere, right? But they're hall monitoring people to hell. That's what they're doing. They make sure traffic keeps flowing straight to hell. So when people are like, hey, man, let's try to clean up our streets. So, like, for instance, when Sina's talking about the R. Kelly thing, No, we did report on that. Oh my God, boy. All of the R&B lovers was crying about R. Kelly. I said, hey man, come on, let's get over this. This boy guilty. Like, let's move around. All right? And they're like, no, leave it alone, leave it alone. True. TMZ reported the next day after we said what we said. They reported the next day that R. Kelly was in the club.
Oh, we believe it now.
We said he was going to prison. We said, and he wasn't on trial for anything at this time. I want to be clear. We said R. Kelly will be back in prison. And there were some other famous people that were supposedly on those tapes. One of them, coincidentally,
then we say that we leave
2.5 Men.
We leave that on Patreon,
right?
Yeah, allegedly.
Yeah, but
and
to
it's
avoid
on Patreon, we said the name who it is.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks to people like Kevin Hart, everybody's a comedian. I don't think Kevin Hart is the reason for that. I do think people that feel that they have attention, and it's fine. You can believe whatever you want to believe. The audience has to determine that, though. Because I'm not one of these people, like, I ain't going to do what Chris Rock did to Super Hot Fire nigga, and like, nigga, you ain't funny,
but
right?
Kevin Hart
But the
did
audience will determine whether that is the case.
He did utilize and take from people online.
Well,
Maybe
I think
that's what
Kevin Hart,
because he did absorb a lot of online comedian stuff.
A lot of them now, yeah, they go online and mime for jokes. Because I really tell you all, and I want to hear what you have to say about this, because like you about to ask a question. But look, okay, think about what we do, right? People think we're dissing rappers for them being absurd. Like if I point out an absurd moment, like we thought Drake in the elevator with the dogs and the chihuahuas, I thought him and his pimp coat was funny. But they're so serious here about when Kendrick came out there dressed as a quilt from Home and Garden, I thought that shit was funny.
Or when Jay-Z came out with the Absol Fold and the West Coast attire with the shades.
Easy E-Soul. Like, so what we do, like, it's so dry out in these streets that they think sometimes when people reach out to us behind it, they think we're dissing people. It happened. Joe Budden had a wave of absurdity that was taking place right, starting from him being ass naked in the hallway. We thought this shit was funny. People were like, yo, do y'all got a problem with Joe? I said, what?
No, Joey's people got scared because they thought we was going to have a campaign, like we're going to have a bunch of women on our platform who talked about Joe Budden beating them. I'm like, we don't have to do that. If karma comes for your ass, any of these big names, and you go to prison for whatever you did, that's your fucking problem. No one needs to do, at least this platform, we don't need to do a campaign against you. But I'm saying, I understand though why they do it though, because
you don't know.
No, I'm saying that it's about power, and you have to show a lot of restraint not to use dark psychology to make somebody your puppet. Like when you brand somebody, because remember, it's a very primitive emotion and feeling. If you break somebody down into your image or someone who is supposed to be an extension of you and they worship you, that is a form of power, because you can make that person do whatever you want. And also, in a way, in order to, get a lot of views to some degree, you do have to pimp people to some degree to make them believe in something, right? Whether it's genuine or not, right? So that's why most people do it. It's called marketing. You use color theory to evoke a certain emotion from people, right? You say certain trigger words or buzzwords to generate an emotion from people. And the best type of people to be a part of your army are the people that you make them feel that they have an emotional connection to you. So this is why now there are rare people in society who are genuine though. Like, Fred Hampton, he wasn't just generating this connection with people and followers and people in society for self-serving reasons. No, he was doing it for a collective reason. That's why, he got gunned down and murdered by the police. He got assassinated. So I'm not saying that there aren't people who use this energy for good. There are people in society, in history, at least historically, who have used that power even at the expense of themselves, sacrificing themselves for the greater good of society. But if we keep it a buck, the majority of people do not use that energy for good reasons, except for like to generate money.
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you, but see, all of that shit gets boring though. You know, like if you really think about like the internet, right, and social media, like kind of like high key, like why is it like really for a lot of people the only place to have fun and spaces to have fun is gossip. Like, if you think about like everybody tight ass everywhere else, hip hop too serious. Okay, you got people even talking about Marvel and DC movies. I'll be in the comment section under videos and they really cutting up with each other. But when it comes to like gossip, everybody's just like, yes, I'm afraid I can say what I want to say about I can make up anything. And I think it has to do with the idea of being able to play with the imagination, lying, or even the idea of enacting revenge on someone's reputation publicly, that you feel like you have some power to kind of affect people's lives. Like, and the reason why I'm just bringing it up is because there is I know everybody keep crying about the woke stuff. I don't think it's necessarily wokeism. I do think this is a very unserious, serious era. Remember when we made the joke and we said, why is everybody being so serious right now? Now, we know there's some other dark things that are going on that we see that the public think is just like rap battle stuff. But most of the time, fans are not talking from that perspective. Most of them, they're just talking about their favorite rappers or favorite MCs, but there's overly seriousness in policing in that particular culture, too.
Well, because there's the people who try to turn the audience members into puppets, and that's the whole point about a puppet master and a puppet. And I understand why they do it, because it does work. When you talk to someone as an adult and you don't sugarcoat anything for them, you don't lie to them, you don't be like, this person's just clean cut and they're a hero. Like, you bringing up things that questions that person's character as an individual. Okay, you're supposed to be this such a great person, but why everybody around you beat women or why people around you are traffickers if you're supposed to be this great woman, or like, and when you say these things, people get mad at you because they can't just be a puppet. And my thing is, be what you want. You know, I'm not trying to break no spell or no curse that's on you if you're in love with any of these celebrities. That's none of my concern. But I don't feel like having to play along with you, though. If you come to this platform and something comes out about your favorite, and I don't care who it is, like, that's not my problem. And you can go to a platform that's going to feed that fantasy for you, too. But I understand why there's so much dark psychology, because it works. It does work. It does work when you put people in an illusion. It does work when you have a gift of gab. It does work when you know how to psychologically manipulate people for you to make money, for you to be okay, for you to look out for you and for your own family. And I get why people do it. If they wouldn't do it if it wasn't effective, and it's still very effective. It probably is going to always be very effective when it comes to,
that's nothing new.
You know,
that's nothing new. That's
the cult of personality.
Yeah, but you know, people, it ain't nothing new that we're doing here. We're seeing today. It's been going on since Egypt. I mean, that is what the pharaohs were doing. I know people like they got this idea like, oh, it's all black and peaceful and everybody was altruistic. No, they were manipulated. In fact, going even further back with Sumeria, like those were the earliest forms of social engineering, you know? And I just feel, look, I feel it's much to do about nothing. I'm not going to lie to y'all. There are times where I would just like, no, just having fun and moving on, because it really, there's no depth to much of this stuff. You know, it's moving narratives around and generating monetization. That's all it is. It's narratives and monetization. Now, if people can get that through their head, you can actually let go through a lot of this stuff. Because you got to think about it. Think about if you already know when you're walking into a store, you know the salesman or woman, they're coming to sell you something. You understand the dynamics. Now, to the point, if you believe into the narrative where you think that there's something greater going on here. Folks, when Kyle Kalinske, whatever his name is, when he goes on his rant about Nazis on the right, and he does his video, it gets 300,000 views in 6 minutes, right? Money has been generated. You should understand that it's narratives and money. Because at the end of the day, what would really be the point of highlighting that when I'm pairing with Nazis on the left? What would be in the point? You get what I'm saying?
Like saying,
if you just
Dr. Pepper and Coke.
Yeah,
Coca-Cola.
it's just that's all it is.
It's marketing, and
people get irritated if they feel when you're a consumer and you're taking all of these narrative points, narrations, and monetization points in, and you come to people's spaces and they're not really doing that, they're just talking however they want to, you get angry because you say, hey, why aren't you being a team player? Right?
Well, yeah. No.
That's how it comes across a lot of times.
Well, that's why I don't get involved even with YouTube beefs anymore and people's online squabbling with each other. I don't care about who fights who because, back in, this, in my early 20s, put a cape on for people but you don't know who is going to make up.
No,
so
you leave it alone.
Adults fighting with each other, that's y'all fucking business. Unless it deals with sexual assault, unless somebody robbed you or something horrific happens. If y'all are all squabbling up about opinions and commentary online, then I do not give a fuck about your problems arguing with each other. And y'all can make up tomorrow. Who knows? Like, there's some people who were arguing last year and then this year they're cool. So it's like, even when people, get mad and say, well, defend this YouTuber for what? They're probably going to make up. And you don't know. Time will tell. Some people have already. And then some people have fallen out. But it's not my fucking problem to get in the middle of people getting into arguments with each other. And it's not even about anything real serious. People spazzing out, calling people the worst things just based off of opinions about rap and rappers. Which is actually pretty fucking crazy.
Well, the narrative's also running dry, too. So they got to figure out monetization another way. I do think, though, I'm going to be honest with y'all, and that's something I said early on. I said, look, a lot of the millennials that were, really about to cook with some comedy, hey, man, some of the old school players ate their lane up, and I did see that. Kevin Hart was definitely one of the first comedians from that space to really completely merge with social media. And that really helped bolster the brand. And then you saw a lot of people that were doing skits, impersonations. They kind of faded away, and they were resigned to becoming writers. Writers can make some money, but also, in a way, you kind of just giving off your energy somewhere. So, I do think a lot of times that has been effective because there's these narrative wars that go on, and it's just been happening for a long time. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. The whole rap thing, it gets a little boring. It does get a little boring because it's a little bit more. It's more intimate a lot of times in social media. And I will say this: it can be more intimate because some of these rappers pop out on social media. They crash into fans. They crash into the consumers. Because sometimes you could just be making a genuine critique, and then boom, they pop up in your chat and they're screaming. Right? You've seen that a lot too. So there is a bit of it's a weird energy that I do think, it's unpredictable. But the unpredictable energy does kind of keep things in check, because we told y'all that there was an idea allegedly that Jay-Z was playing around with a verse for the Clips album, but he didn't know what to say because the internet is very unpredictable. Social media specifically is unpredictable. And so a lot of people are moving a certain way.
Yeah, it's just I do think it's very interesting and fascinating, just the human mind. We all know worshiping has been here since forever, but it is interesting how it continues to form into different type of avenues. And how even turning someone into your idol, what does that mean? You're turning someone into a god on the earthly plane. that you just submitted your power to. You know, and this is just for like just a case study. Like even when you saw like academics said Charlemagne's my idol, that's why you had nothing to say when they were. That's why he had nothing to say when he was right there in front of Charlemagne. But it's like I think people don't understand when you idolize people, you're giving someone you're giving your power away. And also, you can like somebody and like what they do without giving your power away. You know, and even people who have authority can be held responsible. And that sometimes is something that's interesting, because even in the five steps of tyranny, they show that in society, there are a lot of people in society who are very fearful of standing up to authority figures, you know, standing up to a title. It's kind of like even the conversation we have right now where people be like, and I don't think of things in this way, like even when we're talking about new media versus old media, and they talk about what is credible. I think of things like Bill Gates was in the Epstein files. Tommy Mottola was in the Epstein files. Dignitaries was in the Epstein files. Doctors was in the Epstein files. Agents were in the Epstein files. So when you talk about credible, this is why some people get ate up and mass casualties or death when it comes to authority figures. Because if you think somebody has a badge and somehow that makes them wiser or smarter than you, then you don't understand how society works. You know, someone can still be a merchant of death and still have a badge on, or have a nefarious plan and still be from a university. And just like you could also, of course, have it in the reverse, because someone who is of status and the rebel, sometimes they both can mirror each other, because sometimes the rebel can just want to be in and have status. That's why Animal Farm is such a brilliant book, because it touches on that. Okay, you're the rebel, you're saying this is what's wrong with society. You fight, you kill, you get rid of what you said was the impure, people who are toxic, people who are evildoers, who misuse their power. And then you get into that position just to end up doing the exact same thing.
Yeah, you know, that's why I do think, you know, again, one of my favorite comedic minds is George Carlin, you know, and I don't, you know, I'm not saying you have to be like, you know, in that energy, but look, what are we talking about here? You know, I agree with Sin 100%, but yeah, I gotta say, like, when we started Thought Crimes, we had some fake, you know, pro-black folks popping up in the chat, and Pete Solo, you're not serious enough. And then I go to their page and I looked at what they like. It's a bunch of ass clapping videos. That's what I said. Like, you know, I grew up a different way. I grew up in a different situation. So get into the net, none of it's really real, but it can be used to affect real things in people's lives. That is true. But you got to remember, these are like avatars, like, you know, you're meeting representatives, you know. It's not like, you know, you're around somebody like 8 months into the relationship and you're like, oh, you know what, man, he's a weirdo. You get what I'm saying? It's like, no, you see this same representative all the time, and then, you know, that's how it's marketed. You know, so I think, you know, when y'all saw me in 2025, I told y'all, I said, no, I'm not having fun with any of this stuff, because I said it's not that serious. And not only that, money is to be made. We got to remember, at the end of the day, nobody is on any of these platforms unless you are demonetized. But you can always make money somewhere. Nobody is on any of these platforms for free. And I think, to me personally, hey man, I think that's kind of like, think about like a dope dealer that becomes conscious. He's trying to educate the other brothers in the trap while still there. And then one of the niggas like, hey bro, we all selling dope. Shut up, nigga. Like, everybody, whether you pro-woman, anti-woman, whether you're an activist or you're corporatist, like, honestly, you're on these platforms, you're making money. You have to bring in attention. You gotta do something. So that's, for me, like, all right, that's enough. You know, that's why it's easier to highlight industry niggas But people who don't come from the industry, but you're trying to merge in with them, or you get what I'm saying? Like you want to be seen too. You get what I'm saying? And you just got to be real with yourself. Like Sin and I's approach is different. We have our animations, our characters. I enjoy looking at the chat, whether it's 100 people in there, 300 or 2,000 people. I like to see the diverse energy and the different opinions. And I just also feel, Sid, you know, in many of this, like, I think people got to be honest with themselves. You know, I really would like to see more honesty with our culture. Bro, y'all, I get so tired of seeing the representatives, you know. It's like I told y'all when I was walking down the streets of Austin and the white boy was telling me about the children starving in Africa. And I'm like, bro, you got on a white tee. I don't even know who you are. You could be working at Starbucks.
Yeah, like
you know what I'm saying?
Like even when people are trying to say, people are talking about everybody now only because
Go ahead.
the Kendrick and Drake thing. I'm just using this as an example, and it's like, no, like this platform has been talking about the nuances.
Okay, can you go back to that? Like, break that down. What did they mean talking about everybody since Kendrick and Drake? Since Earth history starts with Kendrick and Drake.
They said because one person said in the chat one time, because Kendrick brought up Drake possibly being a trafficker or a pedo,
right?
That now everybody is bringing up what everybody else does, and that's not actually true. Pre the battle, people were having these conversations about all industry people, period. Yeah. You go look at it when people was talking about Diddy, when people have been talking about Jay-Z.
Right, for a long time.
Yeah, like even this platform when we talked about Love Nas, but we talked about Nas saying Gwyneth Paltrow could say the N-word when he was...
Nas is like, I can never live this down.
When he was doing that Euro stuff, right? And it's like, no, you've been radicalized because of the damn battle. You're supposed to have fun. You've been radicalized because of it. It's that simple. Now, when people talk and these nuances that they've been talking for platforms who always talk this way, you feel something in your chest. But it's not only just the audience. It's also people who are manipulators because you are from the industry. There are some people who are like gang members from the industry who be in the chat. There are people who know these celebrities who be in the chat now. And then they pretend, right, that they're just regular and neutral or whatever in the audience, but you're not. There are certain platforms who've been talking this way since forever, and you want them to switch up and change how they talk because you want them to, I guess, get in line for some industry shit, and that's not going to work.
Well, also, you know, even that year though, we had the Cat Williams interview with Shannon Sharp, and man, Cat Williams, well, he wasn't spilling no tea. That nigga was pouring liquor all on that damn floor, you know. And I would say Cat Williams is probably, for me, publicly, the last interesting comedian. You know, I just think, some of the what is it? I'm gonna do what like them old school black folks in the conscious community used to do at the 5 Points in Atlanta. The Breakfast Clubification of comedy, right? You know, I just think a lot of that's a problem, you know, and I think even when I look at like the absurdity of like academics, you know, academics is, to me, he is unintentionally funny. Right? Because, and when I mean unintentionally funny, it doesn't mean like you're a comedic genius, right? Some people are unaware, like, you know, people's aunts and uncles were funny. Your mama was funny, right? She wasn't walking around trying to be funny. She was just funny, right? But the reason why I say like academics, the conversation with Charlemagne, all of this shit looked like Pootie Tang to me. I'm trying to get y'all to understand how I view these niggas.
It looked like Zoolander shit.
Yeah, it's just Pootie Tang, Zoolander, Mystery Men. You remember that movie? Yeah. All of this shit looks like that to me. All right?
It is a very bizarre world. If you try to be sane and a truthful person, it's weird.
You're going to go crazy.
Because somebody wants you to be engaged in their circus, and you got to pretend and try to play in the illusion, but it's like, for what? But at the same time, what can be dangerous is that an illusion can eventually become a reality. Like, think about even when we're talking about mafias.
Right.
Like, people forget Gangs of New York And
The Butcher was a trip.
no, they forget that this is a lot of European gangs that brought in this whole mafia, early mafia talk. If we're talking about Italians, Jewish, you know, all these different types of groups. Later on, you do get, the black mafias and street gangs and all that. But look at who they make the face of crime, right? So something that was obviously false, right? Like the illusion, it became somewhat a reality, because I still don't think of course, black people are the face of crime.
No.
If we're keeping it a buck.
Nah.
But
the black people are the face of cool.
But some people have molded in that cultural diffusion and have become that Frankenstein.
Absolutely.
That's why it's very dangerous, though, when we're talking about altering perception.
It's true.
You know, it's kind of like when you look at fictional tales, like with even with Skyrim.
Yeah.
Where you had the snow elves. They were like these.
So snow elves, they were like short white people.
No, they were supposed to be like these beautiful like elves, right?
Oh, okay, yeah.
But eventually they got conquered and dominated, and they got deformed, and eventually they was put in work underground.
Oh yeah, I get what you say. Yeah, that happens. That does happen.
And then they became
these
creatures who have deformed with fucked up faces.
They came in like them little silly putties from the Power Rangers.
But it's like you shouldn't give anybody the power to mold you into something that is not yourself, and that's very dangerous. Like I even seen when some people, if they get lied on, and they start to take on the energy, because they'd be like, "Fuck it, since you lied on me anyway, I might as well become that." No. You never let nobody mold you into something that you're not. Because that's a first of all, a high form of dark psychology for anybody who, if you don't believe in magic and astrology.
Psychology is magic.
Astrology, we'll just keep it simple here. It's a high form of dark psychology to allow somebody to give someone the power over you to mold you into something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I see some people do that dumb shit, and they, since they say I'm a nigga, I'm always be a nigga. Man, I'll roast the shit out their ugly fat ass wife. Who you talking to?
Or even
right? You get what I'm saying?
Like how we changed how we altered the perception of the movie 8 Miles, right?
Yeah.
Because Clarence is supposed to be a big deal that he comes from a good family. Like when you said, "So what?"
Yeah.
You said you would have cooked Eminem's character anyway. Like
broke
bitch,
right. Living under a trailer park.
Right? Like
the hell you talking about my name, Clarence?
But that's also when we go to the brilliance of the best of what hip hop can be, though. Like even when you see lyricists battling each other, whether they're battling each other off of some form of truth or even if it's completely fiction, when you get into a battle and you're competing with another artist in rap, whether it's battle tracks or whatever, you're literally fighting to see who can be the best at altering perception when it comes to being in front of the audience.
That's why I think a lot of times people rail who are tyrants. Y'all got to understand, people that are controlling and they're tyrants, including in culture, they hate comedy. Comedy breaks the fourth wall. Think about somebody trying to be controlling. We're very serious. This is a serious issue. And somebody will come in and they're like, "Yo, why you look like you constipated?" And people start laughing. Right? That we break the fourth wall. That's what we're breaking, the fourth wall. So a lot of times, look, I tell you this, man. First of all, one of the most rebellious things on this planet is the human soul. All right? You can't push no baby back up in no womb when it's coming out. There's no force that can stop it, right? It's coming out, right? The reason why I'm saying that is because to the point about, think about the administration, even the Biden administration. Obama did it. Bush did it. Think about a lot of presidents. They do crack down on comedy. They crack down on broadcasters, radio personalities. They also target charismatic people.
Well, because comedy can be really dangerous. That's why Oprah and them called Dave and told him to be quiet, because comedy can hit the same parts as even when it comes to sex or other certain things. Like when
Well, that's why a lot of guys be getting tight when a nigga keep making a girl laugh.
Exactly. Well, you had that happen.
Yeah,
guy
nigga put a gun right on the table.
I was like, Prince playing dangerous games.
That's before I met Sin. So to be
like,
clear, I'm not out there doing that.
Well, no, you didn't do nothing wrong anyway. You
No.
you wasn't trying to mess with that guy's
Now
wife.
I was being silly though.
She was a very pretty woman, but you wasn't.
Hell no, I wasn't.
You wasn't doing nothing.
No,
like
we was
that.
all hanging together.
Prince don't cross those lines with people's spouses. So,
But I did take the gun and slide it in my direction.
but
was fucking
the woman
with
was
him.
you was joking a lot, and he got mad, and he put the gun on the table.
He put the gun on the table.
But with comedy, the reason why people don't like for people to laugh or have fun is because comedy can also disarm a lot of things. It's actually to I think even beyond music and stuff. If you're a comedian and you're a really good one, I feel like that's the most disarming type of energy that you can have for people. It seeps completely in.
No, go ahead, continue. I'm listening.
No, it does. It seeps straight into the subconscious, but also it can free people too.
Yeah.
That's why like what you said, like if you think about it, like if people like they really like about to kill each other and somebody come in funny and they point out the absurdity of what you're doing, it can break the spell of even some of the most heated or deadliest situations, because people then can look at themselves and be like, damn, I was about to smack this nigga for nothing.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
You do think about it like, I'm going to tell you, okay, Two True says here, P, I think you should explain the concept of the fourth wall for non-cinema people. You do go over people's head kind of often. No offense to the chat. You think I go over their heads a little bit? Okay, that's no problem, Two True. Basically, the fourth wall is the barrier that separates the audience and the performer. Okay, and life is a stage, like the greats say. Life is a stage, and sometimes the play can be so absurd, but the performers know that it's a bad movie. Like, you ever see some of the actors in Tyler Perry films, the early ones with the really fucked up wigs? Some of them on their face, they know it's a bad movie. On Tubi, some of those people, the brilliant actors and actresses that they are, they know it's a bad film. The social media, black social media usually, what's a little running pun with black social media and Tubi that's not owned by black people is black people break the fourth wall all the time. Think about like what was the performance? It's Jim Crow, coloreds and whites. Then black people came along. This shit is stupid. Slavery. This shit is stupid. Black people, y'all gotta understand, black people are the ultimate fourth wall breakers. You can get a black woman, and B-More was telling me a story. She said a black woman told a white woman, you're looking healthy, you gained some weight. And she said the white girls got silent. And she said, what's wrong? And then she said, well, we don't like that. And then the woman said, well, why are you trying to look like a patient? But black people naturally break the fourth wall. And so that's basically what I'm saying. It is like y'all bringing up a great point. Deadpool does it all the time. Bugs Bunny is a master of it,
Yes.
Yeah, he would turn to the camera. Daffy Duck would do it. You would see with early performances. Animaniacs. Yeah. And so the reason, and that's honestly how Sin and I operate by nature. Right? If something seems absurd and silly, like, come on now, we really gonna run with this shit. You get what I'm saying? And and hip hop has become so serious, or rap culture, whatever you want to call it. It's become so serious, it unintentionally breaks the fourth wall. You get what I'm saying? And look, being real with you, the only thing that usually on Mercurian principles, the rapper and the comedian, they usually don't do well together. You put them in the same space, there's going to be conflict. A lot of times you see that. Like, if you go think about Marlon Wayne becomes friends with Tupac. But Marlon Wayne said when him and Tupac first met and he was on stage, he said Tupac was being an asshole, right? And he's like, hey, man, you trying to eat up my attention. And so Marlon started roasting Tupac. And then Tupac started fucking with him after that. He liked him. You get what I'm saying? So sometimes there's conflict in that. But yeah, that's what the fourth wall means. If you guys may not be familiar with it, it's that wall, that barrier between the artist the performer and the audience, and it's broken. It gets broken, and there's a new reality that happens. And unfortunately, you all wonderful people that happen to get on the internet every day. There's a lot of people that don't want y'all to break the fourth wall, and not all the time is it needed. You get what I'm saying? Like I told y'all, if like we have OVO ZZ, she pop up in the chat all the time. I actually went back 6 years on one video. I was like, damn, OVO ZZ, she under the Janet Jackson video, right? Right? But she enjoys the property of Drake. That's what she loves. Just like we have people they enjoy the property of Kendrick. It's not my job to go in and like why you shouldn't listen to this person. But if something comes out in the news about people, I'm going to talk about it. That's just how it is, And so, we don't even get that particular declaration. I just think a lot of the shit is funny to me.
But it also depends on, like, if you want to sacrifice. Like, also when you're molding people when you're puppeting people, you have to sacrifice something, right? So, for example, of course, choosing a side in this hip-hop situation that literally has nothing to do with us, except for certain parts of our content being highlighted because it's useful in the situation. You would have to sacrifice certain audience members.
Yes, so when you lean into something.
If you decide to be all the way with the Kendrick stuff, you have to sacrifice the people who are over there who really loves Drake. If you go over there with Drake all the way, then you have to sacrifice the people who are all the way in enjoyment with Kendrick, with how they try to paint it, and also with the Jay-Z thing. In our audience, we have a lot of people who fuck with Jay-Z or with Drake or with Kendrick who be in our audience, right?
Yeah.
Other people have made that decision for themselves, though. They've made a decision like, we feel like we get more views or we feel like we get more traffic if, we be like, yo, fuck all these pro-Drake people or fuck all these pro-Kendrick people or fuck all the Jay-Z people, whatever. And people can make their own decisions, though, on that. One thing that I've learned over time is there's nothing worse than trying to control people. You have to let people come to their own decisions, and they have to grow themselves. You have a shared space where you have free thought and people share, their thoughts about different subject matters and people. But at the end of the day, when we're talking about adults, people are allowed to do what they want to do, of course, within reason. I'm not talking about like murder or things like heavy like that.
Right.
But people are allowed to like and dislike whatever they want. And the more you try to control people, the more they're going to rebel. You even see that even if it's something that is supposed to be perceived as good. You saw even with Michelle Obama when she was like, well, we want to take some of the chemicals out of school, but when the school lunches and try to make them healthier. And people who were in opposition of her like, no, this is a great moment to showcase, oh, this is something by force. Did she ask the parents? Did they even get a chance to decide? And that was used as a way to wedge and cause, a bit of drama. Because when you point out the fact that something is not a decision made by the people, whether it's good or bad, even if a decision was made in the favor of the collective that is actually better for them, but it wasn't by their decision, then there can always be a pushback. And there will always be a pushback in that way. That's why it's always better to let people come to their own decisions. Even when you're, I remember there was a story about, I think it was Michelangelo. I think it was him, where he was working with the upper class of society, right? And he was working on a sculpture, and the guy who was like trying to tell him what to do with it, he didn't know shit about creating a sculpture and nothing like that. But Michael had to let the guy come to his own, make it seem like he came to his own decision. So when he said, oh, can you just chip a little bit off of the nose? He didn't really do it, but he, pretend that he did. And he said, okay, is this better? And the guy was like, yes, perfection. Now, here's the crazy thing about, the human mind. you would think it would be okay for Michael just to say, hey, you don't know what you're talking about. If I do that, it's going to fuck up the sculpture. But that person in this particular dynamic has more power than you. And if you did that, he probably you could be demoted from your position, or you could at worst get killed. Every day in society, like we're doing that to some degree, like having to maneuver around people's egos and trying to figure out, okay, how do you present information when somebody is wrong, but they may have more power or status than you in this interaction, or even when it comes to the power of the collective, because when you think about people in powerful positions, they are scared of the collective when it comes to pushback, though, which is why they usually lie to the collective all the time, or they try to find a scapegoat. Because remember, a scapegoat is to be made a sacrifice when you don't want to take the heat, and the crowd has the power, because people in power always know the crowd has the power, which is why, they manipulate the crowd to go fight other people, whatever. But that's what the scapegoat is used for. But also, how do you even become a goat? You have to be at the top of the mountain, which is why I say to people all the time, you need to be really careful what you run into and what you get yourself involved in, because you never know who is trying to line you up. And sometimes people may give you an opportunity that looks like an opportunity, but it's really for you to be a sacrifice. And I'm not saying to be paranoid, because sometimes you genuinely do get a gift that isn't laced with a poison apple, but sometimes you are given gifts of deception.
And then they'll have goat meat. So that happens all the time too, But yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things, I think it is a lot more nuanced than people, think when you just, quote unquote, even in quote, if you want to say hip hop media space. That's why so much research is done in this space. So when people disagree, they're like, oh yeah, you can only go so far with it. Not really. No, because it's changed the sound of country, just hip hop in general, for the good or bad. It's had its influence. It's just really kind of what black people do in general. So, and I mean, even if you watch Entertainment Tonight, if anybody still watches that, but even how they cut and edit their videos, it's based on how hip hop media and rap videos have been cut and edited as well.
Can you say that again? Because people don't even understand that. Don't skip past that.
Yeah, people don't understand that.
The way that people even when we talk about Director X, even in traditional hip hop media, but also in alternative hip hop media.
Yeah.
Now, how people for the past 10 years, how hip hop media have been doing narration videos and all that, and think pieces and all that.
It's everywhere.
Now, they use it in politics.
Yeah, like even when I hear people say that, I say hip hop media, it's everywhere. I'm witnessing it in real time. They can tell you that. I don't believe that. It's only a few of them. Like, think about, I got on screen right now, Stephen A. James. No, not Stephen A. James. I'm thinking about Stephen A. Smith. He got the same haircut. But Stephen James as Carl Weathers, rest in peace, right? In I Play Rocky. Now, one thing I'll give Sylvester Stallone, boy, he has squeezed all of the juice out of that film Rocky. Now, this film follows a young Sylvester Stallone and the dramatic journey it took to get Rocky made. So he had the sequels, then he had Creed, the sequels to Creed, right?
They say he looked like Joe Jackson.
Then he got like a prequel here. So one thing about Stallone, he has treated the Rocky franchise like it's Star Wars. Okay.
Well, people realize though, if you have a good property, you can't recycle it.
Yeah.
It just depends on how you use it. Like sometimes I have, creative conversations with friends like, that could be, recycled and remixed, because I believe in recycling and keep reusing whatever you already have.
Did he say we invented the remix?
Right. While also still, of course, coming up with new stuff. But
right. Something fresh and innovative too.
I mean, if you have a really good property, as long as you don't degrade it when you're recycling it, it's fine. Like what we even saw with
it's got to be a balance there.
the trilogy, when we first saw the first Star Wars trilogy. And then we had got the prequels that people hated at the time. Not the kids. The kids loved it, but adults
Was crying about it.
the nerd adults at the time, they hated it. And then now, fast forward to 2026, they're like, what?
What? Anakin a punk? You mean he's a kid?
No, but they go back now in 2026 and said, oh, they were good.
Yeah.
But it's like, but you was the same person who said it was trash back then. It's
Because-
kind of like how people changing their mind about it was written. Like even Elliot Wilson, he was like such a harsh critic at the time on
Prisoners
Nas
of the moment.
And then now he's like, you know what? It was written was a good album.
Yeah, and no, that is true. Sin does do that. It's like, hey, we can, flip this. A lot of times for me, I'm like, after I keep seeing people going in the same loop, I'm ready to go do something different. All right, there's new territory to go hit. We can get out of this cycle here.
Sometimes the past can create something new though in the future.
The past can, but also you got to keep fresh and innovative because what you got right now, reboots. How many Spider-Man reboots are y'all gonna get, right?
No.
Yeah,
I mean,
so
although
it comes with balance. It comes with balance. Just to say this real quick because I actually agree with you. That's what I'm saying. We agree. I'm just saying the idea of that having it come with balance on top of that.
Because you got thousands of comic books on Spider-Man. It's just that if you have so many. First of all, if you're talking about comic books, it's like alternative universes. It goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on.
Because you got to keep this in mind.
The movie part, though, sometimes because
people they're scared to.
It's not as elastic, so it can get dried up because of how simplistic it is.
Sometimes artists just have fear. Because sometimes they're like, well, I'm going to go with the surefire thing. It's like what Will Smith said when they gave him the script, when the military gave him the script for The Matrix. He said, I didn't understand it. He said, I couldn't get it. I didn't know what the fuck they were talking about. Like they said the camera spun around. But then if you was a kid and you went, I remember being a kid, I went to go see The Matrix. It looked fresh and innovative to me.
Allegedly, they stole it. The script from a black woman.
That's why everybody was fresh and innovative. You get what I'm saying? And that's why I always say they stay in y'all face all the time. That's the point. Black people are always coming up. Black people either remixing something and coming up with something fresh and new where somebody's like, wow, I didn't know you can do that with that. Right? That happens all the time. Look what happened with the turntable. The turntable is an old item. Right? People like DJ Jazzy Jeff got their hands on it. People like DJ Kool Herc, JMJ got their hands on it. And then you start seeing other genres implemented into their composition or their format.
Yeah,
so
most things that are old are formatted into something new.
Yeah, he said no Peter cases. Slander.
Well, because I understand why people would make a lot of films on Spider-Man and comic book characters because there's a lot of material. It's not like we're talking about one book or one comic book, just one, and that it was one and done, and that's it. And people keep like reheating the nachos. We're talking about a whole universe. So, and there's thousands of comic books on Spider-Man. The problem is, if your production team can't keep up, then you probably should let it go. To the point of like why people are getting tired and fatigued with some of the Marvel films is because like even like with like you couldn't get somebody else for Doom. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Like that part, like the source material
is great.
I get why you want to make multiple movies, and you can because the source material is
fire.
Is endless.
Yeah,
but like y'all are acting like y'all just keeping like the same cesspool, the same 10
But that's what I'm talking
people.
about, Sin. That's where I'm coming from. Is that think about this, Sin? We know how I am, right? I always don't mind going back and making something innovative out of something from the past. Nothing new is done under the sun. It's just how you do it, right? To quote Nas, right? Where I get like I'm out of here is you give me Robert Downey as Doom.
I'm out.
I'm out. And sometimes for me, I'm speaking for P Solo, that's happened for me with hip hop a lot of times. So like, all right, I'm out. Okay, I'm out. Okay, I get it. You're launching a podcast. You're dissing another podcast. It's I'm out. I don't want to be bothered. Okay, the conversation, don't have this, don't say that, don't talk about this. I'm out. That's boring to me. We don't live like that. Life is very free, and life can be scary because freedom can be scary. So, you don't know what the hell is going to crash into you. You get what I'm saying? It ain't like, they're like sending you Morse code. Oh, yeah, by the way, idiots, you're on the Titanic and there's an iceberg ahead and you're like full steam ahead, right? Sometimes you just don't see the iceberg. But then you can learn something from it. Like, damn, man, like, now I know why there's an iceberg there. There's some other shit under there.
And being impulsive and
so
having
you
an
get
ego will prevent you from seeing what's underneath that iceberg. The fact that you... Also, like, how did even with the they don't even know how icebergs work. Like,
well, yeah, but my point is like going back to the Robert Downey thing, is when they did the great unveiling and we saw Tony Stark's under there, and then what's his name with the hat, the one that was curating everything.
What's the one with the hat? Are you talking about
Kevin Feige? Yeah. Kevin Feige turned to the camera and he gave a thumbs up.
I was like, you fat and lazy now. I mean, he always was fat, but like the laziness is now added to it.
Yeah, and even people like they're trying to tell you like.
But his ego, even when he fired the director of Ant-Man, who did a good job.
Uh-huh.
I don't like messing with Hollywood people because they sacrifice the art based off of like not liking someone and not for valid reasons. Because, if somebody like fucked, Kevin Feige's wife or, something along that line, robbed him or something. All right, fine. Okay, we cooking with grease here. But it's like, you getting rid of someone. Okay, you hired somebody because they're good at what they do. But then you fired them because they won't relinquish at what they're good at. What the fuck did you even hire the person for?
Well, like, look at this on the screen. That's what I'm talking about. He said, I played the best hero. I can play the best villain. Look, if he can play Doom, he can play Doom. Right? But you explaining why is it Tony Stark's is going to be very interesting. And that's all of entertainment because they have to do. Remember now, when they're launching something as grand as the whole Doom story arc. Remember, they were promoting the Thanos saga, the Endgame, for like 10 years, damn near. Right now, they say, all right, we're going to pivot. Now we got a new villain arc, and it's Doom, but we need brand recognition because this is what Hollywood feels comfortable with. They feel comfortable with brand recognition. Robert Downey, effectively as Tony Stark's Iron Man, it's a brand recognizing situation for them.
Can I say something?
You get what I'm saying?
I think sometimes it's the case. I think is when I saw them keep hiring Jared Leto, WME, and everything he's touched has been box office poison. He's been in Tron. I didn't watch it because he's in it. And it's not for no protest. Like, I understand all these industry people who have alleged allegations of trafficking, including Jared Leto. And whenever he gets caught, we will be there reporting on it. But until then, wait and see. But it's like they know he sucks. They know he's box office poison. But they put him there anyway. I think it's a power thing. It's a power dynamic because it's like we're too big to fail. We may have mergers, maybe another big company buyer. We could do whatever the fuck we want. We could lose $1 billion. And it don't matter because, remember, monopoly. So this is what destroys art. Because if you could do whatever you want and there's no real consequences except for the people who are lower ranked that work in your companies, then you can do shitty things like that and not care.
Yeah, I don't know. See, I just think it's the Illuminati.
Where's the Illuminati button?
It's just the Illuminati. Like we sometimes we just got to call it for what it is.
It's money laundering.
Yeah, that's all it is. It's like, when that mask came off, I was like, I forgot. It's the Illuminati, So Look, I mean, it is what it is. You know, I know it's from an alternative timeline. I get it. But they also could have told another story arc of Doom, too. It ain't like that's the only story arc of Doom.
No, that's the thing, too. That's why I said there's a whole lot of material. It's not like this story arc doesn't exist. It's kind of like when people was crying off about Captain Marvel. And I'm like, well, you know, some people's like, well, she's too powered up. I'm like, that's the power she has. First of all, I know most people who watch comic book movies don't read comic books because some of the things they complain about is just don't make no sense.
Right.
I agree with you. I feel like there's a different story arc that would have been better for Doom. I don't want to see Robert Downey Jr. again. I just don't.
Because you got to be careful with Robert because sometimes he has... One thing that's a signature style of his acting, he has a fast-paced staccato with his dialogue.
That's why he felt he couldn't act anymore because he said he got too stuck in Tony.
Yeah.
But he said when he did what was the movie he did recently?
Like Tropic Thunder?
No. Eisenheimer. He said he realized, I still got my acting capability.
That's scary. That's how long he's been playing Tony.
And then he went right back into it.
He forgot who he was. Yeah, because I'll be real with you. I was irritated when I saw Tony Stark's up under that mask. I got angry. I said, damn.
Right.
But to your point, look, he has to make it believable that this is not Tony. Because I don't want to hear him sound like he's chewing on tobacco gum and talking fast.
No, I agree. And
that's all I'm saying. Because that's his traditional style of acting.
And Captain Marvel was boring. But I'm saying, like, people couldn't just say it's boring. They said, why was she so powerful? I said, because that's the comic book source. You should be asking why it was written poorly or why is it boring. That's the better question than, saying things.
First of all, no, to your point, shit. First of all, Thanos in the comic book was a simp anyway. For Lady Death, all right? They didn't have Lady Death, or they didn't have Death in the actual film. And keep in mind, Thanos was running around with a steroid glove. So what y'all talking about? Like, without the glove she was going to beat his ass anyway.
No, that's true.
He juicing.
Thanos did take steroids, bro.
Hey, he collecting pads from every universe. Like, come on, man. I got the soul pad. I got the earth pad. Like, bro, it's a steroid.
Me up.
Yeah, like
what? Strength.
Yeah.
I can manipulate time. Yeah.
Now, is Thanos as far as a multi-disciplined fighter, is he dope? Yes. That's why the Hulk got his ass whooped. Technique versus strength. Because all Hulk knew to do was to crash in the shit.
I'm glad, though, that was exposed because people don't understand. No, it's nothing against David. David is, a scientist. But it proved, like, David, it wasn't like he was a martial artist.
No.
That's why when you see the Hulk don't do shit but smash.
Right.
Like, bitch, go, like, fucking learn how to fight.
Yeah.
Like, that's why another being that actually, is strong and powerful was kicking his ass.
I ain't gonna lie.
The Hulk don't got no fucking technique.
No, the Hulk is undisciplined. He's pure rage. He's all he is. All you need is Loaded Lux in front of him saying, look at you, emotional. That's all Hulk is. So when he was getting his ass whooped, the theater got quiet. I'm not going to lie. When Thanos was fucking Hulk up, that was one of my favorite scenes. Right? But yeah, when he choke punched him, Hulk didn't know what to do. He was like, I can feel pain. Right? So, but as far as Thanos versus Captain Marvel, yes, that was correct. And Thanos y'all got twisted. He was on steroids, y'all. Like, bro, he was on steroids. Thanos is not that strong without that damn glove. Come on, he's snapping people. He's snapping entire populations out of civilization.
David Banner.
Yeah. So, but no, if he look.
Yes,
yeah.
Bruce.
What's that?
It could have been done better.
Which one for what?
No, I'm talking about like how funny it is, just the character.
Oh yeah. And they, and actually Hulk took the defeat so bad. Y'all know Hulk didn't want to come back outside no more. When he kept trying to Hulk out.
Planet Hulk was good. Good storyline, really good storyline. A lot of people wanted to see that.
They did. They gave you aspects of it in Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah, but they really wanted to see the full, but like
they're scared to invest in a Hulk film though.
I know.
Since Ang Lee broke back Hulk.
Ang Lee Hulk was funny.
Did you see him in his interviews when he was explaining
it? Was like a ballerina Hulk.
I want to take the Hulk and make it beautiful. I said Ang Lee was trying to win another Oscar. He was trying to win another Oscar.
Ang Lee should have been smacked for that. Because, like, he was Oscar baited to the Hulk.
Yeah, trying to win another Oscar.
Come on, Ang Lee. Fuck out of here, bro. You doing too much.
He was trying to win another Oscar, you know.
I just wanted to show how delicate the Hulk was.
He had them daddy issues.
He was abused.
Nick Nolte was in there.
And I wanted to show the inner strength.
And you know, David, I've always loved you, Bruce. I've loved you so much. Now give me your blood.
You know what really angered me about that film? I actually thought, I will say this, I thought the cinematography of it, like the cutting of the film was fire. The whole comic book shit. But boy, did the villain suck.
Well, that's why.
You had super powered puppies. And then at the end, he was fighting a snot ball.
That's why I also didn't like Wanted, the film.
Oh, I get what you're saying. You liked it or did it?
I didn't.
Oh, yeah, you talking about where you got to curve a bullet.
People just liked it because Angelina...
Make sure the bullet snaps.
Angelina Jolie was in it and stuff, but...
And The Last King of Scotland, Professor Xavier.
But when I read the graphic novel, I felt the graphic novel was better. The concept, like, the whole concept of Wanted is we're living in a world where superheroes were all murdered. They're dead. They're
all
gone. Villains decided to work together to get rid of all the heroes, right?
They got together. They cooperated.
And in this world, it's like people are just fighting for themselves. They even had like a and again, this is about the comic book, the graphic novel, because some people think when I say this, I'm making fun of people who have Down syndrome. I'm not. But they had like a in the graphic novel where like there was a little bit of Superman's DNA left on the cape, and they made this like Frankenstein Superman where whatever you tell him to do, you have to say the opposite. So if you say pick me up, he's gonna put you down. So you have to tell him the opposite. But anyway, they also had like a character where like maybe they feel like it was just too much to make a film, the real actual version. But
you should have chosen a different property.
That's what I'm saying. But the other villain was like
that's the one where he looked like Eminem in there, right?
Yeah,
and
Halle
Berry.
And then they had one that they like I think it was like Shithead or something, and he was like made of all the feces of all the most evil people in the world. But anyway, the whole point is they even had a preacher who he almost died, or he was dead, and before he was able to be brought back to life through when he was on the hospital bed. And he said when he was out for 5 minutes, because he didn't see God, he felt that God didn't exist. So then he became one of the most evil men in society. And then you had the puppet master and all that. But the whole point is, it was illustrating a world Wanted of what exists where superheroes no longer exist. And I just feel the actual film, I don't know what the fuck the point was of that film.
You talking about a fake Matrix film?
Yeah, it was turned into like a League of Assassins or some shit. Like, it's not what the graphic novel is about.
I saw some of the graphic novel a little bit later, but I knew when they said it was based on a graphic novel, and I was watching Morgan Freeman, I says, whatever's going on here, I feel it's wrong. Well, you got to do is curve a bullet. You got to curve it like this, And
yes, high power. It was like based off of like the concept of Bizarro Superman with their version on Wanted. But Superman got so many different versions of him in other people's properties. It's not even funny. Yeah. But going back to what you said on Prince, it wasn't the property at all. I don't know what the hell that film was. If it was a film on its own, I would be like, okay.
But it was about marketing Angelina Jolie.
That's what I felt like.
The Matrix technology. Because everybody was trying to find a reason to do the Matrix slow cam.
No, they did turn Wanted into the Matrix,
Yeah, and then you had the homeboy from The Last King of Scotland was in there. And then you had Morgan Freeman playing the same character he played in Bruce Almighty, God, right? And you know, look, I mean, listen, again, it was
Oh, okay. You showing them on the screen.
yeah, it was, listen, it was popcorn, you know, $2 DVD bin stuff.
No, yeah, because Wanted
You know.
also was showing you the different forms of evil, though. So we have this society. There's no
Right.
superheroes.
Yeah.
You have regular people all the way to the most worst people of society.
Right.
But what's so interesting about Wanted is that some of these villains, like, they wanted to preserve something sacred to them while destroying other people's lives.
That's what humans
So,
do.
like, even
Yeah.
Puppet Master, he had a wife and a daughter,
Yeah.
and, you know, he treated them very well. But he out here having puppets rob and kill people,
Yeah.
destroying other people's
Kind of like a
families.
racist cop. You go in and you kill minorities, but you go home and you're like, I protect my family,
Yeah.
leave my children alone.
Yeah, like, it's like,
Well,
where...
the
where-
audacity.
But, you know,
The audacity, shouting.
in the hypocrisy of it all.
Yeah.
You know, because, you know, it also showed that they destroyed the balance, though.
Right, yeah.
Because now that, you know, they're running amok and there's no superheroes, there's no balance. And it also shows you what happens in society, too, when people want to destroy even what balance is.
Because we're looking for communism.
Because they look at we for complete communism.
That's what we're looking for. We're looking for communism.
I know, but Wanted, they were looking for communism.
Yeah. As soon as I start hearing people talking about communism, I start getting like, oh, we about to go into very boring territory.
But also, this is also the genius thing, though, about people who create art. Think about when we're talking about altering perception. When you read the book, they almost make you like you're rooting for the main protagonist, but he ain't shit.
Yeah, those are likable protagonists, though they call them, or a likable antagonist.
Yep, likable antagonist.
Yeah, likable antagonist.
And like, but they have you rooting for this person.
Yeah, absolutely.
But he's not. He's destroyed lives too.
It's kind of the lesser of two evils. That's what it is.
That's what they turned it
Yeah.
into. But it also shows you how likability is marketed.
It's like that. What's
Because
that one?
they like, well, if you like this person, then you should give up your rights, huh?
Yeah.
Will you? Do people actually give up parts of themselves because they're under the charm of somebody else?
Absolutely. Humans, we're very rebellious, but we also compromise when convenient. It's not that, you know, when they say she's uncompromisable, he's uncompromisable. That's a lie. People compromise when convenient. Also, shouts out to Victory Status says here, The Killing Joke should have been a film before the horrible musical. Would a Bizarro film be good? Actually, they did have The Killing Joke. It was an animated film through DC Animation. And send it out. We talked
people
about
felt
it.
It was bad.
It was horrible.
It was
a horrible
It was so horrible
film.
that it was funny, though.
Yeah, it was. Actually, they did have The Killing Joke, and I can't remember the director's name, but Sid and I watched it.
They said it was the guy who did it was like a little bit rapey guy.
Yeah,
Like how
they
has
said he
his-
did it with the Judas contract too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was weird too.
I didn't watch the full anime. I mean, first of all, the source material of that is already bad, though. Let's keep it a buck. Even the source material for that one. But
yeah, because y'all remember that's when Barbara Gordon gets put in the wheelchair by the Joker. And then at the end of the film of The Killing Joke, the DC animated film, the Joker and Batman are just laughing with each other on the roof. You know, there's like, oh, after all, you know, Joker's like, what am I going to do without you, right?
well, yeah, because it also made me think of like even with Stalin. You know, and this is something that Prince and I talk about all the time, but it still blows my mind. That's why I'm sorry. I try to be careful with other humans. I love y'all, but I love us, but you know, yeah. So Stalin, a lot of the people that he used for his marketing, he killed. Like even the young girl that was on his shoulder, and he's like promoting a better Russia. He killed her parents.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like people were like thinking of him as like he was just like this super sexy like machizo guy for their culture at the time. And they gave up a lot of pieces of themselves because they liked him. And I just find that like I personally find that crazy. Like, would you really put your family and people in danger because you like somebody?
Yes, that's what Boosie did. Yeah. I don't. She know how I am. I'm like, yeah.
Reality check.
It's a reality check, man. That's
reality check.
Yeah, y'all saw the girl that got on stage with Chris Brown. You saw what he got to do, dry hump her, and then the husband divorced her. Look, I mean, hey man, humans
when a
are
real nigga wants you.
Yeah, humans are. Well, we're funny creatures, y'all. Yeah, people, four-legged creatures have more consistency than us. I'm gonna be real with y'all, all right? But I'm not one of these people.
No, I do agree with you most of the time.
Yeah, you
know, if you look at the animal kingdom, you know, it is not about I'm gonna let something happen because of like. You know.
Thank you, Victory. Said even if it's your own animal companion, you know, they
still say you complete me.
Yeah. Oh my God, that was definitely one of the worst Batman animated films that Sin and I had ever watched. I said, this is terrible. This is a terrible movie. It says here, no Prince is saying it's heavily implied that Batman kills Joker at the end. That's why it's called The Killing Joke.
And this one, we're talking about the animation.
The animation.
Yeah, not the source material. No. The animation was horrible.
It was...
Not the source material. The animation was horrible.
Even the makeout scene with Bruce and Barbara on the roof. Y'all didn't know that Batman and Batwoman is she Batgirl, right? Yeah, it's Batman and Batgirl.
It's just how
get busy on the roof.
It's how they did it. They executed it horribly in the animation.
It was, and honestly, this was one of the more.
But I thought it was funny though,
because Batman's absurd. Everything about him and his villains are absurd. That's his family.
I do feel like Batman treat the villains as family. Not just Two-Face, who was actually his friend, but
all of them.
Calendar Man.
Yeah, all of them. It's a Jackson 5 reunion.
Keep them alive. You're wrong, Joker. But I want you to stay alive.
You complete me, Bats.
All right, time to go back home.
Like all of that stuff.
You do a really good Joker voice.
You think so?
Yeah.
Oh.
DC hire Prince. No, stop.
I knew Thought Crimes would sell out. Hey, family. Here they go. Family, let's get into it. Man, Thought Crimes is sold out and they don't support black media.
They're over there working with DC. Prince Solomon fake ass is over there doing voiceovers for the Joker. And the Joker represents white supremacy. And let me tell you why. They have a white man running around killing everyone. And he never brought to justice.
Oh, man. But yeah, no, we watched this one. Now, Sin and I, we didn't finish the Judas contract because once the little girl walked out in the after five, Sin and I, we cut it off.
No, let me tell you. When they had in the Judas one, the little girl, her shoulder thing fell. I was like, we're out. I'm sorry, DC. Bye.
Yeah, Sin and I, we turned it off.
This is gross. I understand the source material too, but I don't want to fucking watch this. I'm out. And with the death stroke and all that, I'm out.
Yeah, we was out. And actually, the Killing Joke in the Judas contract, I think it's by the same director, if I recall. Okay. You know, but yeah, it was a little bit too much. I didn't want to be bothered with because I'm not, you know, and they always this is a part where the sickness creeps into the art. They do the stepbrother stepsister shit.
White people do that a lot.
All right, or they bring in little children, and it's
white people do that a lot. We have to ask white people. Why are they always obsessed with the sibling stuff? Look, I like Star Wars, and I think we watched, Back to the Future, but
oh yeah,
like they why do they always got this fucking
incest thing?
Why do they always do this? Is anybody white? We had someone white in the chat a couple of days ago. Is anybody white in the chat who can break down why and Star Wars and Back to the Future and all this stuff with the cruel intentions and all that?
You want them to step forward so they can be shamed?
No, can they tell us about their people? Like why
Yeah, because
why are we having that in the art a lot? Like,
Sid and I was talking, and it's only when Sin brings it up. For me, Back to the Future is almost a perfect cinematic trilogy until Sin reminds me about the mother-son thing. And I'm like,
It was weird.
I said, oh, no. Jeez, my mom is hot.
Yeah, but I was like, you gotta be careful because white people be trying to grown people do their art too.
I'm gonna be honest with you, yeah, because Back to the Future, it's one of my favorite properties, but then it's not when I remember what Marty McFly said about his mother.
Is there anyone white in the chat today? And don't be scared. Can you please stand up?
And then they had the mother, because she don't know that her son came from the future, so she flirting with the little guy. Because
it don't seem like we have white people in the chat today.
They the avatars with no pictures.
No, there was a white person from allegedly from the UK out there yesterday for the last stream. Damn, ain't none of y'all in the chat today?
Like, I told Sin when I was watching, because Sin, she sat down with me and put me onto Game of Thrones, because all the time I didn't watch Game of Thrones or The Walking Dead. I would just go to work, go home, and if it's a Michael Bay film, something straight and direct for me,
I don't remember
I'll watch it.
The Walking Dead having any of that in there, but they were doing weird stuff with
I couldn't do The Walking Dead.
The black guys kept getting killed.
Yeah, and then I'm talking to other black niggas that watch it. They talking about, man, you tripping. I say, yo, why every black man like a sub in every episode?
That's the white creators' dystopic future
fantasy.
fantasy.
And when I knew it was over the top, Sin? The homeboy that had the tiger, I went and read online. I did read like a part of his story. He like a G in the comic, but in the series, he was like a coward. So I was like, man, so this is intentional because this character is actually supposed to be pretty good in the comic.
White people, this is your last chance in the chat if you're there. I know y'all was there yesterday. Y'all was here yesterday.
But
so you know how they slick when what were we talking about yesterday that made them come into the chat?
I don't know.
Look
at the thumbnail. Go look at the thumbnail.
Let me see what.
But when we was watching Game of Thrones, I told Sin, this is too much incest. I'm sorry, this is way too much. It's too much. And then when Sin was like, she told me about Jon Snow. She said, "Oh, that's his auntie." I said, "What?"
Roman culture. That's what Too True said.
Oh my goodness!
All right, they're not in here today, but that's okay.
Well, a lot of royalties, a lot of royal bloodlines, damn near everywhere, folks. They've all participated in that somewhere, because they felt like if we do this amongst our bloodline, it makes us superior.
The royalty in Britain.
Yeah, you saw it in Egypt. I told you guys, I think people don't do their real research about all of these cultures. If you do that, you'll just you know what? Humans are off the hook. As a species, we're off the hook. You see how it's it was times of, it's imperfect in America. But yeah, there's a lot of things to be improved. Racial tension, racial bias, what goes on with black Americans, women, children.
They're
right?
bringing up Boosie scam.
Yeah, but man, they decide, man, humans, when they get a wild hair up their back, man, they ready to have some, you see how people voted all this stuff in because they have a need for challenge. We have a need for speed.
When we have white people in the chat next time, we'll ask them the question. We'll bring this back up later.
Yeah, but no, Game of Thrones is too much. And then what's the one that Cersei, the one that it fell on her and her cousin with the rusty hand?
No, yep.
I'm just saying, it was in the show. It was in the show. It was how many seasons they had? 7, 8 seasons?
I forgot.
Yeah, it was 8 seasons. But, every time I've seen, a lot of times they have that. It's always somebody related to somebody. I was like, all right, that's how y'all doing it.
We're going to ask y'all next time y'all in the chat. They're not in the chat this time around.
They ain't going to claim that sin. You're asking them to claim something crazy.
It's all in their artwork. What are you talking about? Crazy?
But they be like, bro, I don't do that.
It's not saying that they do it. We asking why do their creators, the people who create it in their culture, keep putting that in everything, even when it is not necessary. That wasn't necessary back in the future. They didn't have to do that.
I hated the dialogue. Michael J. Fox character talking about his mom is hot. I was like, ugh. And the way they had the camera look her up and down, I said, what are we doing here? So that's why Back to the Future is not on my list.
You know what I think? I think they being slick. I think they went Splinter Cell in the chat.
Well, I would.
Quiet.
I wouldn't. I ain't claim, especially if I'm not doing it.
I'm going to wait So
You-
one of them pop out again, and I'm gonna ask.
Now, if we talk about Jim Carrey films,
we gonna trick them and make it seem like it's a nice conversation, and then bam. All right. What's the next topic?
well, we just kind of freestyling at this point. But
I know we
yeah.
was freestyling, but what else you got? Otherwise, unless you got any other things you want to say, we can.
They say Man of Tomorrow and Batman 2 is trending right now. So I guess they're going to have the Blue Beetle guy is going to be in Man of Tomorrow. Okay.
He's trying to hurry up and move on to distract people from the fact that Supergirl dropped.
Supergirl flopped.
It dropped and flopped.
It flopped.
Stop locking flopping.
All right. It flopped. All right. And then they're talking about Batman 2 is trending too, by the way. So I guess, that we'll see where that goes. I don't know who's supposed to be in Batman 2.
I agree.
But anyway, folks, I guess we're going to cap it off here. Guys and gals, we'll be ready. We'll be back again for
Two-Face
tomorrow.
Tom said another flop coming.
Well, I mean, they keep taking the people's money. That's the crazy part about it. They keep taking all these people money, but they still want them to buy shit. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be capping it off here. We do appreciate you guys so much. Y'all enjoy the rest of your day.
We love y'all. Stay blessed. Watch out for scammers. We have international scammers in the United States. Scammers born here, scammers who've been here for centuries, and scammers who from abroad in the U.S. Be careful. Do not be a Boosie. Okay? Peace.
Peace, y'all.
Thought Crimes. Thought Crimes. Thought Crimes. Thought crimes.
Oh my god, what is this?
Thought crimes. Thought crimes.
And I sing because I'm free. His eye is on the sparrow.
Oh my god, what is this?
Thought crimes.
And I sing and I sing
We are all the same. We are all the same.
More group
Coming through your airwaves. All right, now I'm here to kick the ballistics. Check out Thought Crimes. Are you following me? Coming through your airways. Coming through your airways. You ain't gonna get me with that one.